detective showing you what's been, looks like repackaged and marked now as People's 205. Looking at the exterior, I'm sorry, 225. Looking at the property report attached to the front, do you recognize this property report?
Yes.
And how is it that you recognize it?
I completed it.
And what did you book into evidence in this, under the numbers 203 to 204 and 206 to 208?
There was an address book recovered from Robert Baker's cell, miscellaneous papers, basically,
Okay.
and a newspaper clipping.
Okay. And were these items that you recovered from his jail cell with the assistance of sheriff's personnel?
Correct.
Okay. If you could please remove the items from the envelope and describe them individually.
204 is basically a county issued sort of phone book where they put important phone numbers, PIN numbers, or like PIN numbers.
What date did you recover these items from Robert Baker's jail cell?
March 18th, 2021, 8:30 in the morning.
And which jail was that recovered from?
Los Angeles County Jail. I can't remember at this time whether he was in Twin Towers or the county jail.
All right.
The phone books.
Okay.
They have the numbers, and then some of them have other inmate PIN numbers.
Okay. And did you identify each of them as individual numbers on your property report?
Item numbers?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That match up to the numbers I gave you, 203 and 204, 206, 208.
Correct.
So if I were to show you, just for instance, what is 203, within a couple pages inside, we see numbers, it looks like phone numbers, extensions, and then perhaps an inmate booking number.
Correct.
And if we move on to another page, we see a Ken Rasmussen with, again, what appears to be another booking number, or, excuse me, an inmate number.
Yes, that's a booking inmate number.
A Jose Rivera again with an inmate booking number.
Yes.
And 204, the exterior, it looks like something about Bible study, correspondence, courses. If we open this up, once again, does this appear to have various names and numbers, as well as the address, 331 Salem, for Roger Brown's address in Glendale?
Yes.
Any of the other items again?
206 is miscellaneous paper. It's in this little envelope.
Oh.
It's like a little love note that says "I love you, baby."
Okay. Looks like a small coin envelope.
Yes.
Is this what you would have used to book this item into?
Yes, I put it in that envelope.
Looks like this, with 206 on the outside, and then this is what was inside.
Yes.
small piece of paper. So it has the writing that you said, "I love you, baby," with a red heart, and maybe some type of a note, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What's the next set of items? Returning that to the coin envelope.
207 is a newspaper clipping.
Regarding what?
This is the newspaper booking photo of Monica Sementilli. Do you want the envelope?
Oh, yes. And this, again, a small coin envelope. Is this what you used to book this newspaper clipping photo?
Correct.
Okay. 207 and the defendant's booking photo.
Yes.
Okay. What's the next item?
It's just we book these as miscellaneous papers because it's just exactly that. It's different papers with writing, some pictures, some newspaper articles.
Some of these items appear to be mail that was sent to Robert Baker by the defendant.
Yes.
Sustained.
And can you tell us, what is it that we see here?
It's I don't really want to call it a love letter. It's just a letter talking about somebody being sexy, looking sexy.
Talks about a sexy sandy ass, and that she got those creases on her bottom, correct?
Yes.
And then attached, or in addition to that, magazine, pictures, correct?
Correct.
And a photograph of a woman's buttocks that appear to have sand on them.
Yes.
And within the same envelope, on lined paper, a heart, and what does it say?
Ride or die.
And attached to that, does there appear to be an article regarding sexual positions?
Yes.
Based on the title?
Yes.
Another photograph of a woman's buttocks, and looking at the next item, does this appear to be a happy birthday message?
Yes, it does.
And at the bottom, is there a signature?
No.
Forever, baby, forever with a heart?
Yes, but no signature.
Okay. And if I turn it over, does the letter indicate that, as she explained in her other letter, he found his ride or die, nobody else, no matter what?
Yes.
And again, looking at the language here and the writing, I found mine in you, proven, tested, tried and true, always 100%, always resolute. Some of those phrases, always 100, always resolute, was that the same language that was utilized by the defendant and Robert Baker in communicating with one another?
Objection, speculation,
Overruled.
Yes. In overhears and stuff, I remember that exact language readily.
And then at the bottom, it looks like a drawing of hands with a lipstick for a mouth, and then a message. Correct?
Yes.
And what does that say? It says insert date here,
Thank you.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. And another document, a handwritten note in the same type of writing. Again, have you seen this type of language used in numerous messages or jail kites letters from the defendant to Robert Baker?
Yes.
Okay. And here, again, using the phrase, calling Mr. Baker baby, as we saw in the other letter, so proud, baby, so proud and grateful for all of you. You're my
And
my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. I think this sounds like a bad song. Can't help but cry when I hear our song. Fuck, I miss my man, my savior, my sexy beast, my husband. Correct?
yes.
And then at the bottom, again, under a similar lipstick kiss, it looks like some more writing. Is that right?
Yes.
And then attached to this, within this envelope, is a drawing. Have you seen this?
I have. I recovered it.
So looking at the top, does this also appear to be the drawing consistent with other letters, jailed in letters that you've seen drafted by the defendant to Robert Baker?
Yes.
And on the female who's sitting naked at a bar drinking, there appears to be some sort of lower back tattoo.
Yes.
What is that?
RLB.
What does RLB stand for?
Robert Louis Baker.
Okay. And does there also appear to be a name written on the umbrella where the female is drinking?
Yes. Maestros.
And if we look at the bottom, does there also appear to be more
Yes.
writing?
Yes. It says, "Waiting at the bar for my baby. Come meet me in my dreams."
Another drawing. What do we see here?
Well, it's a drawing of a woman in, looks like a two-piece bathing suit, her hands in the front of the bathing suit, some tattoos or nylon, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, some sort of a covering of the eyes. There's a tattoo above the groin area that says master, and there's a necklace that she's wearing with an R.
For Robert.
I would assume so.
What's his name?
Would that be consistent with the first letter of Robert Baker, just like you saw in the lower back tattoo?
It's a little.
Yes.
The next one, another drawing, looks like the hands are pointed to 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And above that, you also see Robert Baker's initials.
Yes. RB.
Did you often, as we talked about the codes that the defendant and Baker would use in their jail communications, whether it be by letter or in their phone calls where they were able to talk to each other, did the time 10 p.m. or 10 o'clock come up numerous times?
Yes.
In what aspect?
It was they talked about in their jail mail and calls that they would always pause at 10 o'clock to think about each other.
And the last page, does there appear to be, again, another handwritten letter, front and back, that ends with, "Happy holidays for the rest of this life and the next. More than love, your SNHLM."
Yes.
Any idea what any of that means?
No.
Detective, show me what's been previously marked as People's 226. Do you recognize what you see there?
Yes.
And what is that?
It's a property report on the front, but evidence envelope containing, it says underwear. I don't know if there's underwear in here, but, and then miscellaneous papers and news articles.
Okay. And was this, again, one of the items that you reviewed with respect to evidence booked to this case? In this case, by Detective Byers.
Yes.
Did you
Josh
work?
Byers.
Yes. Did you work with Detective Byers and Detective Farrell when you were at Robbery Homicide Division for many years?
For many years, yes.
And did you meet with them and discuss with them your investigation when you retired and they took over the case as the third set of investigating officers?
Yes, graciously they did.
Yeah. Can you open this envelope and again remove the items inside the items inside?
Okay, within the envelope, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 manila envelopes. Each one is corresponding to the item number that Detective Byers put on his report.
All right. Item 168.
Says miscellaneous papers.
So if we put them in order, do the actual envelopes inside range from 168 to 173?
Correct.
Okay. If we turn over the document, the property report on the exterior of the envelope, does that run through 173?
Correct.
Okay. And let's start with the first envelope, 168. Can you open that and tell us what's inside?
It's miscellaneous papers. It appears to be some sort of a letter or notes.
Okay. Handwritten in pencil?
Yes, handwritten in pencil.
And is it typical that jail mail is always written in pencil because that's what the sheriff provides?
Yes, and the paper is usually very distinct too. It's that gray paper.
Lined paper,
Gray lined paper.
like notebook paper?
Yeah, it reminds me of the stuff I had in like kindergarten.
Okay. And this, you said it was 4 pages in length?
Yes, it's 4 pages in length.
Okay. And were these recovered from Mr. Baker's cell?
Yes, when Mr. Baker was at the North County Correctional Facility, which is in Castaic.
NCCF?
Yes.
And what date?
On August 14th, 2017 at 10 in the morning.
Okay. If you could return that to its envelope. And if you could open the next one, 169, I believe.
This is a newspaper article. I'm sorry, there's another page.
Looking at the 2 pieces you just handed me from 169, are these newspaper articles relating to the not guilty pleas of the defendant and Robert Baker relating to the murder of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes.
Okay. You could return these to the envelope. And move on to 170.
This is jail, typical what a jail mail envelope looks like, since it's been inspected by somebody at the Sheriff's Department.
And that's based on a stamp in red on the exterior of the envelope?
Yes, and it if we can see here. It definitely comes from the women's facility because the women's facility is in Linwood, although the sender is off, but it's to Robert Baker with his booking number. And then also what appears to be a drawing of a typical sort of cell block.
How do you know that?
It's number one, I've been to a county jail numerous times, and the drawing with the doors looks very similar to the jails that I visited. And then there's double cot beds, the toilet next to the cot beds, and then there's 3300, which is kind of the cell block number.
Okay. Thank you. That's just the hand-drawn photo. Hand-drawn drawing?
Yes.
This year?
Correct.
Okay. Looking at the exterior of the envelope, when you spoke earlier about booking numbers or pins, would this be the booking number for Robert Baker?
Yes, that's correct.
The address at the North County Correctional Facility?
Yes.
Coming from CRDF, Linwood Jail,
Yes.
the women's jail?
Correct.
And is that the same location you went to when you obtained the DNA reference sample from the defendant that I believe you told us you booked as item 201?
Correct.
And if we look at the letter inside, does it appear to be front and back of 2 pages? So therefore, we're talking about 4 handwritten pages in total?
Yes.
And does it start out at the top of the first page with, "How's my man?"
It does.
Okay. And if we look at page 4, in the center of this piece of paper, coded letters, OMM. Do you know what that stands for?
I don't know what the OMM stands for.
On my mind. Have you heard that
Objection
before?
excluded.
I have
It's
heard
just
that.
like,
How about LOML?
The love of my life.
100, we talked about the other letter I showed you earlier where it said 100% or 100,
Correct.
a certain time.
Correct.
Again, the phrase ride or die.
Yes.
And then the phrase be smart and be strong, baby.
Yes.
Also, I'm in love. Nothing can break me now.
Correct.
And at the bottom, hope to hear from you too. See you tonight at 9 p.m. LYVM.
Love you very much.
Mrs. Baker,
Yes.
P.S. I miss my sake and oysters, and then that same phrase that we saw in the last letter.
Yes.
And always OMM with a heart.
Yes.
Looking at the next envelope. 71.
171, again, this is J.O. Mail. This is to Robert Baker. It has the inspected red stamp, has his booking number, and the sender says it's Nisha Hire, H-A-Y-E-R, Nisha, N-I-S-H-I-A, at the Women's Detention Center.
Again in Linwood.
Yes.
Same location where you collected a buccal swab, reference samples from the defendant.
Yes.
Moving back for a moment to the last letter that I showed you that was 4 pages. On page 4, do you see here where it says resolute? comma, protocol,
Yes.
and beneath that, I fucking love you, babe.
Yes.
What's that protocol?
No, I'm gonna interject that.
That's Mark's name?
Do you know what is meant by protocol in these letters based on your review of many of them?
Same, because we definitely will let it cover.
All right, showing you the first document. Does this appear to be a drawing next to a letter?
Yes.
And again, is this a typical jail kite or letter?
Yes. Gentlemen.
At the bottom, once again, do you see where it says here, I am as strong as ever and will not lose faith that we will overcome and live the way we want. I love you very much. Manja, Kate, forever, Mrs. Baker.
Yes. And
On the front, you also see, once again, on the front where the picture is, that same code, LOML with a heart.
love of my life.
Showing you another letter, 4 pages, front and backs. At the very top on page 1, you see again that phrase, LOML.
Yes.
At the bottom of page 3, you see here it says, don't forget our love is our bond, it's unbreakable, and then that same phrase, MUA, MB.
Yes.
What does MB stand for?
Monica Baker or Mrs. Baker.
And on the back, you again see the same type of code, OMM,
LOML LYVM 9 p.m.
and at the bottom, you also see the signature again, MB. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Again, on the next page, looks like there's some drawings at the top of bless you. Looks like it says it's dated July 1st, 2017. There's some sunshine, maybe a palm tree. And then, halfway down, you see, again, those same codes.
Yes. And I believe on the top and in the previous letter, also the I do. It was at the bottom of the previous
Yes.
one that you had. And
Just above
yes.
the Monica Baker signature.
Right.
And again, at the bottom, again, that same signature for Monica Baker.
Yes.
And so would this be an example of sending jail mail, or what's referred to as kites, as we've heard, through other inmates' booking numbers to try to get around any court order that you're trying to copy mail belonging to a particular inmate's booking number by using this type of procedure?
Yes, and if had there not been a cell search on this one, that's a perfect example. We never would have found this letter because it didn't go through the traditional protocol with Monica's booking number, so it would never came in and been flagged.
So, because the booking number on the top is from a booking number relating to a different inmate, this particular letter would never have been copied. However, as you said, you did a cell search on this particular day.
Correct.
Or Detective Fabio did.
Correct. There's going to be an empty envelope.
Moving on to number,
This may have been with that and that. envelope.
172.
I think this was in all together, and I just forgot to pull it out.
Okay. And it appears to be an envelope with a single page drawing, is that right?
Yes, that's item 172.
And this phrase here, sinking link, is that a phrase that came up in jail mail as well as in conversations that were reported in the jailhouse lockup that we'll listen to next week?
Multiple times.
And again, a drawing, and halfway down pointing to the male individual's buttocks, does it indicate property of Monica Baker?
It does.
And then on the finger, just like we saw in one of the other drawings with respect to tattoos and things like that, initials RB.
That's correct.
And this is dated August 6th. Yes?
Yes.
And then at the very bottom, Payne's baby.
Yes.
So was that date 17, 2020?
Doesn't have a year. And the last envelope.
The last envelope was number 173. And again, it's an envelope. Doesn't have any markings on the outside, but it's numerous letters and papers inside. Correct.
First one indicates it's 10 pages in length, and it appears to have handwriting on both sides of the paper.
Yes.
At the bottom of the second page, on the back, do you see that same phrase, LOML?
Yes.
Mrs. Baker?
Correct.
With respect to the second set of handwritten docs, once again, we see that same phrase, but this time with the defendant's first name, Monica.
Yes.
And the back of the next page, again, those same type of codes. This one, LUVM,
Love you very much.
RD,
Ride or die.
100, and then the name Monica Baker.
Correct.
And then multiple pages regarding handwritten letters. And at the bottom of the next page, again, on the signature line, always OMM, always Robert, I love you, 9 p.m., and then your woman always.
Correct.
And another set of writings. Again, at the top, we are definitely synced.
Yes.
That same phrase we talked about a moment ago.
Correct.
And at the very bottom of the last page, again, always OMM, always 100 with olive and fiber, Mrs. Baker, with that same moi.
Correct.
Okay, if you could,
Those go into this envelope and then they'll go back to me.
okay, if we could return the first grouping to the exterior packaging. And Your Honor, I have another evidence envelope. There's a property report stapled to the exterior. It says in red pen, number 209 to 210, may it and its contents be marked please as People's 227.
It may.
Showing you exhibit 227. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, it's a LAPD evidence envelope. It actually has my name as booking it. I probably rebooked it.
Yes. And if you,
No, I booked the originals. I booked it after retrieving it from the shops.
okay. And who did you retrieve it from? The sheriff's department?
From the sheriff's department, and they had it in their evidence.
Okay. So you rebooked it from sheriff's back to LAPD property under this case number?
Correct.
Because it was evidence that was recovered by the sheriff's?
That is correct. I believe at one of the court facilities.
Here.
Yes.
And looking at the evidence envelope inside,
Yes.
does that confirm what you just said?
Yes. That one mil envelope containing several pieces of paperwork.
And does this,
Court Services Central, Bureau Central, and it's booked by D. Schackenberg
Dustin Schackenberg?
with a serial number of 532. And it was booked on June 28, 2008.
18.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is evidence, again, that you recovered from the sheriff's department and then booked in under this case number?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to return that sheriff's envelope into your exterior packaging, and we'll deal with that tomorrow with the sheriff's department. Coming back for a moment to People's 226, looking at the third page. About
Yes.
10 lines down, do you see where it says, what I'm pointing to here?
Yes.
What does that say?
I've stuck to protocol, admitted to love affair of about a year.
The next thing I have is some recorded jail calls. I don't know if the court wants to start that now or if you want to break at this point, and we'll continue with that later.
As I understand it, we're going to interrupt Detective Roberts' testimony tomorrow and have other witnesses testify. Is that correct?
That's correct.
This is a good time to interrupt the testimony then.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to be in adjournment until tomorrow at 9 o'clock. The evidence applies not to discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else. A form of expressing opinion to the cause is not submitted to. As you heard, we're going to interrupt Detective Roberts' testimony for tomorrow. So have a good evening. See you tomorrow at 9.